I just broke up with my boyfriend. Post.
Want a spoon?
You don't want to go to this party?
No, I'm tired.
My ex is going to be there.
Woo! We should probably get going. Which ex text you? Which one?
Mike, the tall one.
What's number 7? Oh, shit.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diane, and today is March 18th, 2014. Woo, we made it past St. Patty's Day. Here are your news updates for today. The Watchers watching the world. Sri Lanka bans glyphosate herbicide to avoid kidney disease risk. How to block nearly all the mercury in your diet using common everyday foods. Let's see if it says something about that real quick. They're talking about vaccines, mercury in vaccines, dental amalgams. I have a whole thing on that, though. If you look back on mercury in my I did a whole giant thing on it. High-tech materials purify water with sunlight. Magma chamber under Hekla volcano almost full, could erupt with very short notice in Iceland. Here's an interesting one. Wi-Fi allergic Americans flock to West Virginia town where Wi-Fi is banned. Scores of people who believe that continual exposure to wireless signals have made them ill have begun streaming to a small town in West Virginia where Wi-Fi has been banned. According to Britain's Daily Mail, these Wi-Fi refugees are making the move to Green Bank, a tiny place located inside the U.S. National Radio Quiet Zone, established by the FCC in November 1958 to minimize possible harmful interference to the National Radio Astronomy Observatory. There you go. So you can go over there, Green Bank. Told you my laptop was making me kind of itchy. Wow. Interesting. Alright, moving on. That was the Watchers watching the world. E&E News, energy news. Japan, Fukushima, New York Times. Crisis underway at Fukushima plant, worker shortage. Alcoholism is rampant. TEPCO base is selling the whiskey. Help wanted ad seeks employees able to carry out a conversation. That's in quotes. Able to carry out a conversation. Workers spray hose full of radioactive waste on themselves and others. That was today. Fukushima evacuees. Skin turned black and hair around neck came off. Then my dog died. Cancer specialist. There are simply too many cases. I see a connection. Wow. Alrighty, let's move on. Go to E&E News, Energy News, U.S. Canada. Research today. Researchers predict West Coast killer whales will exceed 1,000 becquerels per kilogram of radioactive cesium, over 10 times government limit in Japan. Concern about harm to human sea life expert. People eating large amounts of fish may have levels similar to whales. Heads up. Also today, scientists mystified. Scientists are mystified over Fukushima radioactive waste found in Pacific Northwest. Washington official, I have no idea how it could get there. Professor, we need to monitor if it's building up in food web. Sounds like we have some people that are incompetent, don't you? I have no idea how it could get there. And is that a scientist? That's a Washington official? He has no idea? I think he's incompetent. Quick, you might have to replace him. Alrighty then. Yesterday, TV, concern about integrity of shafts at WIPP. Will workers be able to get back up if they go down? Paper, seismic data analyzed by government. Popular theory that entire roof of underground chamber collapsed. All right. Speaking about radiation, came across this video that was very interesting. I'm going to play it for you guys. It's interesting. It was interesting for me, and basically it shows that certain brand of cigarettes, Marlboro, has levels of radiation. I'm thinking that I don't know. I'm thinking that I don't notice on this pack. Do you see any radiation sign on this pack? If there's radiation in this before you light it, shouldn't there be one of those radiation signs on it? I don't know where the mainstream media was about this, but I guess you watch this. It's called ORGANICSLANT. They did a video on this. Did some radiation testing on this. Now, no one's going to want to use that anymore. That was the last, I guess, enjoyment for some people. The lies and the lies that people have been told. But for some reason, I don't see why there's not a radiation sign on the pack. When there's radiation before you light it, before it's lit. So once you light it, I guess it goes airborne. And I think radiation doesn't that cause cataracts? I think it does, according to Dr. Bill Deagle and other scientists. Causes cataracts. It's airborne now. So you know someone that quit smoking, but they still had a problem. It's because probably the radiation. It's accumulative, right? Well, maybe it built up in the house. It's all over the place. It's in the ashtray. It's all over your hands. It's all over everything. There should be some kind of fallout type of radioactive warning on there, shouldn't there? Alrighty then. Stay tuned. Shout out to all my commentators out there. Hope everyone's doing alright. I'm gonna put a video out there afterward. I guess you saw one. Stay tuned, there's another one at the end. Try to lighten things up a little bit, but now that's it. If you smoke, you better stop. Or possibly grow your own. There's a couple people on YouTube, I might show one day, where people are growing their own tobacco now. Alrighty then. Stay tuned. Create Harmony. Hope you're doing alright out there. And just stay tuned. I found this very, very interesting. In fact, I think something should be done about the packaging of cigarettes now. Especially the Marlboros. As a consumer activist, part of this program, I'm going to run the film footage. Take care. Be prepared for anything. Now there's going to be a bunch of angry people out there because they're not going to be smoking. Oh well. It's not a brave new world anymore with that SOMA going on. I guess now the cigarettes are going to be taken out of the equation. And the funny thing was that Marlboro was going to package, like, if marijuana ever became legal. Wow. Would they put radiation in that too? Heads up! Heads up on that. Oh well, better change the packaging now. So it wasn't exactly... It was in the fertilizer. It's in the fertilizer. Okay, check this out.
Buying me this Marlboro cigarette. So I bought that, and he also got this one from the Philippines. So I bought this one from the United States. Well, it doesn't say. Well, maybe on the...
It did. It said it right here. Philip Morris, USA.
plastic, but oh, why are you gonna trust me with that one? I bought down the street here in the burbs of Cleveland, Ohio, USA. So the interesting thing is, I wanted to test them for radiation, the one from Japan, and I'll just say right away that they did test for radiation, but then I did some snooping, and I found out that the radiation most likely is not coming from fallout, but it's coming from the radioactive fertilizer that they use to grow it. Alright, here's the Philip Morris website, who produces the Marlboros, and here's the Marlboro red label box, ingredients, and there she is. There's the culprit, diammonium phosphate. Not only the other stuff you're smoking,
Ammonium too. What is
wax
that?
and chocolate and licorice and antifreeze and probably high fructose corn syrup. Yeah, you are. Look at that. Sucrose. Yummy. It's a well-established but little-known fact that commercially grown tobacco is contaminated with radiation. The major source of this radiation is phosphate fertilizer. The big tobacco companies all use chemical phosphate fertilizer, which is high in radioactive metals, year after year on the same soil. These metals build up in the soil, attach themselves to the resinous tobacco leaf, and ride tobacco trichomes in tobacco smoke, gathering in small hot spots in the small air passageways of the lungs. Tobacco is especially effective at absorbing radioactive elements from phosphate fertilizers and also from naturally occurring radiation in the soil, air, and water. To grow what the tobacco industry calls more flavorful tobacco, U.S. farmers use high phosphate fertilizers. The phosphate is taken from rock mineral apatite that is ground into powder, dissolved in acid, and further processed. Apatite rock also contains radium and the radioactive elements lead-210 and polonium-210. The radioactivity of the common fertilizer can be verified by a Geiger counter in an open sack of everyday 13-13-13 type of fertilizer. The U.S. Surgeon General C. Everett Koop stated on national television in 1990 that tobacco radiation is probably responsible for 90% of tobacco-related cancer. Dr. R.T. Ravenholt, former director of World Health Surveys at the Centers for Disease Control, has stated that Americans are exposed to far more radiation from tobacco smoke than any other source. Researchers have induced cancer in animal test subjects that inhaled polonium-210, but were unable to cause cancer through the inhalation of any of the non-radioactive chemical carcinogens found in tobacco. The most potent non-radioactive chemical, benzopyrene, exists in cigarettes in amounts sufficient to account for only 1% of cancer found in smokers. Publicly available internal memos of tobacco giant Philip Morris indicate that the Tobacco Corporation was well aware of radiation contamination in 1974 and that they had means to remove polonium from tobacco in 1980 by using ammonium phosphate as a fertilizer instead of calcium phosphate. One memo described switching to ammonium phosphate as a valid but expensive point. October 14th, 2013, and this is the background reading on the Japanese cigarettes, Marlboros, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 5,245 counts, 6 count, max data point, average data point is 0.87. Stacked. See that? Just like that. I'm going to do a couple more readings. October 14th, 2013, and this is the second test on the Japanese Marlboros. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 4,731. 6 count max data point, and the average data point is 0.79. October 14, 2013, and this is the 100-minute test on the rolled up cigarettes from Japan. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 4,990 counts. 7 is the max data point, and the average data point is 0.83. October 14th, 2013, and these are the Japanese Marlboros, stacked, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 5,307 counts, 8 count high, average data point is 0.88 again. And that's how I had it stacked. October 15th, 2013, and this is the reading on the Marlboro cigarettes from Philippines. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 5,065 counts, 7 count max data point, and 0.84 is the average data point. Alright, this is how I got it tested. This is the Philippine Marlboros. 7 count high. Average data point is 0.88. Alright, and this is how I did it this way. Stacked up behind them. October 16th, 2013, and this is another reading on the Philippine cigarettes, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 5,211 counts, 7 max data point, average data point is 0.87. And this is how I got it set up there, just stacked up like the others. October 16th, 2013, and this is the test on the Marlboros from the USA, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 5,407 counts, 6 count high, Average data point is 0.90. And this is how I put them this way. October 16th, 2013, and this is the American bought Marlboros, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 5,175 counts. 8 is the max data point. The average data point is 0.86.
Look at ours. Ah.
This time I have them standing up.
How come they don't mark it contains radiation on the package?
October 16th, 2013, and this is another test on the American Marlboros, 100 minutes, 6,001 seconds, 4,566 counts, 5 count high, average data point is 0.76.
Oh, mainstream media didn't warn us about that, did they? Huh. Oh, yeah. Good going.
October 16th, 2013, and this is another test on the red Marlboro cigarettes from America, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 5,433 counts, 10 max data point, and the average data point is 0.91.
Alrighty.
Basically, that's how I got it this time, standing up. October 19th, 2013, and this is the background reading for the Marlboro cigarettes, and it's 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,055 total counts, 5 is the max data point, average data point 0.51. So basically it's sitting in the same spot as I did the test with the other cigarettes. And I know it's a couple days later, but I couldn't get around to it. But it's typically at the same amount you would expect in the burbs of Cleveland, Ohio, USA. Around 0.50, so it was 0.51.
Wow. Yeah, I see, Max, I see. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Real good. It's gonna be two-parter.
I never thought I'd be finding the radiation that was coming from the fertilizer. I thought it would be coming from some fallout from Fukushima. But nonetheless, this is just another reason why smoking Marlboros, especially Marlboros, I don't know if they're all using this fertilizer. You gotta either quit or switch to American Spirit, which is an organic tobacco, and I doubt they'll be using that kind of fertilizer. So it's probably best not to smoke at all, but if you're going to, maybe check those guys out. In the future, I am going to test them and see if what kind of radiation level they test. But I got my Gamma Spectacular, and I'm going to save this tobacco and test it so I could actually identify the isotopes. So that's going to take a little time to set that up, but that'll be for the future. And
there you
other
go.
than that, I guess use some kind of water bong if you want to filter it.
Don't smoke.
But other than that, just for the future. And other than that, I guess use some kind of water bong if you want to filter it. But other than that, just don't smoke tobacco at all. It's a lot safer and healthier for you. Background, Marlboro cigarettes. Background, Marlboro cigarettes. Background, Marlboro cigarettes. Background, Marlboro cigarettes.
Oh my gosh, is that a beach? Oh my god! Diet time. Feel skinny already. Jesse! What? Can I have some? Yeah.